Hello, folks. This week on Enthusiastically Spiritual, I've got Tiger Cole, the president, CEO. You've got a few titles over there, don't you? Of the Wayshowers College. And we're going to talk about some of the materials we have. The session for this podcast is going to take about 40 or so minutes.
Yep.
And we wanted to let you know it's the sort of thing you'd want to do when you're home alone or sitting in a chair. That's what I mean, as opposed to driving. Of course, you're welcome to listen in other situations, but we'll try a couple techniques, and it's probably best that you have some time by yourself to have a listen. Before we do the techniques and before we go through some of those materials, we'll give you a bigger picture of what we've got to offer and how this works and the format that we work with. And is there anything else you'd like to say about that?
It's just, when you go through it, you'll see that we have a theme and you'll go through these nice steps. Tom is going to take you through it. And it gives you just a little taste of being able to do these groups, techniques at home. And Tom and Teresa have a whole series that you can offer you. And this lets you just start to experience it. But for now, it's going to help you get back in the present, help you enjoy yourself, get back into that nice feeling energy that you want to move through the rest of your day with and into tomorrow and the whole week.
So stay tuned.
Whether you are a brand new or a returning fan of this podcast, we appreciate you. We appreciate you listening to the episodes that we create every single week. If you would love to support us by continually creating great content every week, please consider liking, subscribing, and supporting us monthly. You can find the buttons below to do all the above. Cheers to you and moving into our 6th year of sharing through podcasting.
Hey, welcome to Enthusiastically Spiritual. Today, Teresa's busy on the road. And so Tiger Cole from the Wayshowers College and myself, Tom, the spiritual businessman, are here to go over how to be more enthusiastically spiritual. And how you doing, Tiger?
Doing good. I'm ready for a little involvement.
A little involvement. All right. Well, at the Wayshowers College, and you'll see in some of the links below, we offer a lot of we have courses and programs to help people unfold their inner awareness, to grow spiritually, we call it, or evolve. And, the fact that we're all a soul, we all have ESP or that psychic abilities, we're all about making this practical. And it's not so much about the woo-woo behind it, I had a premonition, a dream that came true. It's, well, how do I work? That's a natural talent that you have as a soul, your energy. You always have been and you always will be. So how do we work with this to make it practical? Because, there's a lot of folks that can, pontificate from on high and share with us, mankind is now going through a big awakening. And, well, how do I make that practical? I mean, there's truth in that. It seems to be that, there's an evolvement happening and the shifts are happening. But, at the end of the day, how do I stay happy and free or rally the forces and just really live your spiritual thrust? So I want to go over an outline of basically how all our materials and courses and workshops work. There's pretty much a standard format that we've worked with over the time that the founder had developed by working with spirit. And this is like the best way to get your own answers and yet, share with other people, uplift your energy, all those, great things that we talk about. And really what I'm talking about is being in the right place at the right time, feeling good about yourself, enjoying your life more, having more ups and downs kind of a thing. And there'll always be some challenges, but how do we regroup that, on a consistent basis so we learn, from our involvement? Or how that we expand would be another word.
Yeah, just to add to what you're saying,
please.
The basis of our training and the college, when people get involved with the different materials or the different programs and courses, it's all based on the idea that we're going to give the information to the individual so that they're free. And that was the basis for the college. That was the building block for every single component that we have, from the one-on-one consultation and profiles to the big long retreats and everything in between. It's always set up to free people and not have to have some guru around your neck to constantly draw from. And I respect that that's not for everyone. Some people don't want that. They don't want to be their own best psychic. They don't want to have all their own answers. That's just a building block. Some people are in a position where they just need help, a little help here, and give me some backing, and I'm fine. So I respect that some people don't need that. But what this program is all about is freeing the individual. So every single step people get involved in, just even if they just take one step, it's always about how do we help them help themselves.
Right.
We exist in a highly intellectual world, and often the feeling part where your inner wisdom lies gets left out. There's a way to feel more in balance with all parts of yourself. This way is by accessing a spiritual bigger picture of who you are as a soul. Check out the link in the show notes to access a free video series created by the Wayshowers College to support your journey and moving through this game of life. Your intellect and feeling parts will love it.
And put things in perspective
right.
for your own, personal growth.
The big picture.
So the 4 or 5 areas that we typically go through in our online materials, as well as our in-person workshops and courses and so forth, there's an opening point of reference or phrase or keyword, or really key phrase is probably the key that we're working with, to gain some awareness. And we also work with some tools where Spirit gives us a heads up on what the lessons of planet Earth are. We call those elephant calendars, and we have some other materials like that, but elephant calendars is one of the examples, which we've talked about a lot on Enthusiastically Spiritual. And then we work from that key phrase or theme of the month. We might call it a theme of the month, or a theme for that meeting. And then we work on a meditation. And this isn't like a long, drawn-out big deal. We put some purpose to the inner reflection, you might say. And I would probably best characterize it as, for me, it's just a quiet reflection. We have what we call a spiritual cleansing technique, which there's some links below, and actually it'll be on the end screen of this video. You'll see a demonstration of that. And we'll kind of go through one today. And in fact, today we're going to go through some current keywords and for what's happening right now in real time. And we'll go through that. So first, key phrase, kind of a quiet reflection or meditation. Then we work on development of the conscious mind. So this is kind of what we call a discovery section. We usually involve some reading material and ask some questions. We allow people to express their opinion, and without any judging. It's just you get to express your opinion. It's got to be your opinion. This is where we talked about sharing in the first person. Well, I think this, or I feel that, or I've experienced this. And, we don't have any comments on whatever you want to share. I love that part. And then we work with techniques. And that's the idea there, is to balance that unconscious mind, which is our true feelings or the feeling part,
right,
with the conscious mind, which is our thinking part. The next stage is what we call outflow. So number 4 is outflow, and that's usually where we have a way of getting involved in life. If it's online, we offer a little technique, maybe an environmental cleansing technique, or sharing, expressing what you've picked up, with others, a way to get in harmony with the energy of everybody else. And the purpose of that really is that inner healing, that healing of all of us, working as a team. A lot of these programs are best in person, but people live all over the world. We have followers in the UK. In fact, Teresa and I will look on the list. They're all over the world: Africa, the United States, Australia, the UK. Same thing for the Wayshowers College. And we need a way for people to kind of regroup themselves, because there are times when we go on tour and we travel and we put on big retreats and we have conferences and so forth, where all those like-minded people can come together, and you can, if you come a little prepared, you can even elevate, you can grow faster. That's
Right.
all that we're really talking about. And, there's no competition, but the soul really likes to move at its own pace. Anything you want to share about that?
Yeah. You pulled up some reading earlier, and to kind of paraphrase or give the essence for me is, there is no time in the universe. Spiritually, there's no time. Right? It doesn't really exist. Time works very differently out in the universe. But here we do have time. Here on planet Earth, we have time, and we measure that, and it's lets us know where how we're doing.
Spins around the sun.
Yeah, he spins around the sun. So while spiritually there is no time, as a soul or as a consciousness, I don't want to waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that little bit of balance that I need to hold clearly, that I'm not here to just do nothing, just to exist. There's a technique for that, so that I get back into the feeling of just being, right? But I am here to accomplish something, not like driving and pushing and forcing, but I am here to make my next step, to make the grade, if you will, spiritually, and to go forward. And that's part of what we talk about, where I have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I have a purpose. And spiritually, every single person has that. They have a unique plan, a unique purpose. And whilst we say that, if we were to go through some of these techniques, and you just start letting that flow through and let that come in, let the insights come, say, what is my plan? What are the key things I need to work on in order so that I feel more one with all, so that I feel that I'm fully accepting myself and people as they are? How is it that I can go through my opportunities so that I can feel the master of myself in those situations? What can I do, and how do I live in such a way that I'm releasing limitations in my life?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, this is not just what I do, it's how I do it. And that brings us back full circle to our involvement and making things practical. Everything we're going to be sharing about, there has to be that outflow of making it practical. So I have an experience. Okay, let me turn that into wisdom. Otherwise, it just stays in my head. I just keep filling my head full of information. And the challenge, while that sounds good intellectually, right? I know all this stuff, right? I know how to do this. I know how to work this. I know how to organize that. If it doesn't make the transition into wisdom, then what happens is I live within boundaries. I get stuck in this playpen that I've created in my mind. And so even like people like Einstein, has that thing. It's like, knowledge is limiting, creativity is limitless.
Oh, that's a great line.
And so that's that. Even great inventors, one more is like the other guy, Nikola Tesla. He used to talk about that my brain is only a receptor to the universe. And that's like a bigger picture. That's recognizing that, okay, I do need to understand stuff, like 1 + 1 is 2, and I do need to understand. I mean, he was a pretty sharp guy when it came to all that. But he also knew that there had to be wisdom. And wisdom is involvement. Wisdom is getting down in it and applying it and making it so that I can have greater fulfillment in what I'm doing. And so to me, that's what I'm getting out of what you're sharing is it's just about that involvement, making it practical and letting that wisdom be in my life.
Spiritual growth is not a race. It's a gradual progression. You do not have to spend 24 hours a day working on it in order to feel more inner peace, deeper connection to your soul purpose, and feeling more confident in your daily life. The journey is all about balancing your physical and spiritual worlds. These two worlds are supportive for embracing the foundations of the real you. By just investing minutes a day for your spiritual part as you would invest in your house or other areas of your life. To gather more direction, clarity, and a new layer of inner awareness, check out the ebook set created by the Wayshowers College. Link and discount code in show notes.
Before we get into, actually demonstrating and going through a real-time regrouping for both of us, I'd like you to share about the purpose of all the work you've done to develop those online materials and the basic outline of what you've got available on the Wayshowers College website. And through us here at TNT Spiritworks, we've got some discount codes we can offer you.
Yeah.
And what do you think?
Right. So, I mean, you were hinting at it in the beginning that traditionally we've done everything people to people, and that's still to this day in person. Yeah, excuse me, in person, and still to this day that is going to be where the most energy will be. Like when you start getting around other people of like mind, coming together in groups, learning these techniques face to face. Having the experience with other people, that just accelerates everything at a much higher level. But also, let's face it, we recognize we live in this world that we're in, because that kind of post-COVID situation that really made the online world really big, and people are used to that, and they want to make sure that they don't want to get in something that they don't want to be involved in. Right. So we've created these systems, we created these tools to help people get a taste and also to help them along. Right. So we've taken a lot of that wisdom and we put it into print, put it into videos, brought it into home studies so that they can practice. So it takes you step by step. Each one lets you go a little bit deeper. So we start off, most people can experience the free. We set up some free items so that you get a taste for it. This is what you're going to be involved in if this is what you want, So you get those free items. And then if you're ready for the next step, then you're introduced, you're given an orientation, right? And we've got these tremendous short little videos, little 5-minute-ish videos, and it just goes over the entire big picture of the orientation of what we offer. It gives you all these different symbols and concepts that you're going to be experiencing one way or another on planet Earth, and when you're working on your inner, whether you're dreaming, whether you're working with your higher self. That you get, so it gives you that big picture so you can balance your two worlds in which you live, right? If you're still interested, then the next step, the next phase is kind of like you start to get involved now. Okay, now it's time I feel these concepts, I experience them, try them out. And we do that through a technique workshop. This is mirroring, by the way, what you do is if you were in person, right? So the next thing is this technique workshop where they go through different slides, different content, along with an audio program with it. So it just walks you through it. A huge amount of techniques in there. Everything from feeling energy, feeling your aura, to cleansing, to astral trips, to healing. All just exposing just a little bit, so you start having
whole spectrum of
a whole spectrum.
What's considered metaphysical or mystical,
yes,
is actually very real and practical.
And I was just going to say that, and how to make it practical. That's the real distinction. There's so much out there that is beautiful, good, and pure, but how do I really make it practical? I mean, can I was regrouping with someone the other day, and I'm a little bit of a tangent here, but we're talking about how when astrologically, when Mercury goes in retrograde,
Uh-huh.
and most people,
I think that's the only thing I know about astrology is I recognize that phrase.
yeah,
Mercury goes into whatever that means.
yeah, yeah. And so this is a time for those, I mean, most people who study astrology know what that means.
Yeah.
But let's say you don't have a good feeling for that or don't understand that. Basically, this is a time when there's going to be more challenges with communication and appointments. There's just an absolute fact and statistic where when Mercury's in retrograde, more planes are delayed than when it's not in phase.
Wow.
And there's more challenging where people miss appointments, and you write, when you're writing down numbers, you misdo one of the numbers.
Uh-huh.
It's like a pressure. It's a pressure around the planets and all this kind of thing. So it's real. It happens, right? It's just it's a basic thing. My point for bringing that up is, even though Mercury can go in retrograde from time to time throughout the year, I still need to go do what I need to do. I can't stop life just because that's happening.
Yeah.
So I just need to know, okay, well, during those times, or even if I don't know those times are on, I need to check and recheck. Hey, I'm coming over, Bob. Remember we had that appointment. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. So it's making sure that I follow through. And that's what I mean by making it practical.
Yeah, where those inklings, maybe I should give
Yes.
Bob a call.
Yes.
Oh, no, I don't need to. We set it up, talk myself out of a hunch when in fact that hunch was my sensitivity.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said today. Okay, I'm ready. I can do it.
Yeah, I completely forgot. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So my point for bringing all that up, a little detour there, was just to recognize that there are a lot of things that are good and amazing out there, and we can discover all these things spiritually and metaphysically, and they're important. But how am I going to take it and apply it?
Yeah.
How am I going to apply that in my life in such a way that I'm growing, I'm being of service to the people around me, I'm passing on what I have, I'm actually having fun in life? How am I having fun in life, especially with all this stuff is going on around me and in society and in other worlds and all the ups and downs, and oh my gosh, right? It can get pretty full on if I'm aware of those things. It's like, oh my gosh, everybody's tearing each other up, and
Yeah,
or
well,
whatever.
and we talk on another podcast we have that we entitle Spiritual Perspectives Discerning News,
Yeah.
where we talk about, what's happening in the out there in the environment, and the the challenges that we all have in the political situation, in the world situation, and the just challenges, I'm saying that in a positive way, challenges. But this is what we're talking about today here on Enthusiastically Spirituals. We're going to give a demonstration and bring us through a real-time situation where we're going to regroup, ourselves spiritually. So if I keep myself regrouped spiritually, and we have a format and tools and techniques that, for me, it's been over, I hate to say how long it's been, almost 45, 50 years or so. I've been working with some of these tools and techniques, and,
It must
folks,
work.
they must work. I keep coming back. I've, one of my favorite philosophies, or part of our ethic in working with these, is that, if you feed a hungry man a fish today, this is one of my favorite lines, or if you, they'll only be hungry tomorrow.
Right.
If you feed a hungry man a fish today, they'll only be hungry tomorrow. But if you teach a man how to fish, or a woman, or anybody, they can take care of themselves.
That's right.
And that's kind of our ethic spiritually, which, was the founder was Francisco Cole, Dr. Francisco Cole. And he set up these beautiful programs. He worked with spirit and was one of the pioneers in sharing about, how we are a soul and have a soul. And of course, you've been doing this for many decades as well, since, and you're the almost a namesake, but you have a little Francisco David Cole. We call him Tiger, and I don't know why, we just do. And so you got to watch out for him sometimes, Tiger. Anyway, in a good way. in a good way. Uh,
Yeah. So
yeah, so
that's the
I
going
guess what I
back.
was going to is these are tried and true,
Yeah.
been developed by a lot of some trial and error, as well as
That
working with spirits. And every time you and I look at some of the materials that came before us that you've reconsolidated and re-implemented as online courses, we go, holy smokes, this stuff is good.
Yeah.
It's all right here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. That is probably the best way to say it is it's not just something that's been divined, it's been tested.
well said.
It's been put to the test to see if the average person could use it. And there's a lot of things I can get involved in out there that are, you could say, I like to call it high art items.
Hmm.
They're high art items. It's kind of be like getting a PhD in one specific area. And that's great. If that's fulfilling to you, then go for it. But if you're looking for a base that's can cover everything and it's been tested and trued, then this is the world that we work in. This is the tools and techniques that we offer. And so just to recap, there's that free intro to be aware of, is this for me? And there's an orientation where it's just a series of videos you go through.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a technique workshop where you experience different concepts and copy and content, as well as audio program with a lot of techniques in it. And then the next stage is where you get involved in home studies. And you start interacting more with hopefully the person who attracted you. And you just start expanding from there. And the ideal thing is to have both, where you're working with your home study and then also getting involved with the person who you're originally you got inspired by, and getting involved in those person-to-person activities.
Yeah, and that's where, for example, TNT Spirit Works
Right.
fits in, is that we can mentor you as you move through them, give you little hints, and just help you with the guidelines of the whole thing as you unfold, and then from there you can go from there. I think the other ethic or value that we have that I really am attracted to is that as we get involved, it's like a watering hole.
Yeah.
The programs and the resources that we've got, and when you've had your fill, great, see ya.
That's it.
And go have a good time and go implement it for a while.
Nobody's controlling anybody.
Yeah, I'm one of these people that I've kind of come and gone over the years, as a young man, and all the way through different times in my life and different opportunities. I've stayed involved in these sorts of things because boy, once you get a taste of growing faster, it's hard to let it go for me, and I love sharing it with people because there's a lot of fulfillment in there in working with that higher spirit.
All right, well, let's do some.
Okay. All right. So first, we're going to open up with a key phrase or our point of reference, and the key word that's influencing this month that we happen to be recording this podcast in is excel. And we're working with the year of Spirit of Inspiration in the new spiritual year. So excel is the word. Also, a word we're working with this week is elemental.
Right.
And I'm going to, as you take a moment to make a note of those words, excel, elemental, within the year of Spirit of Inspiration, just take a moment to see how you feel about that. And we have a spiritual cleansing technique, or where you just take a couple of deep breaths. This is one of the techniques, and invite your higher self or your spiritual helpers to come close. And see how you feel about those words, excel, elemental, in the Spirit of Inspiration. And just be aware of any pictures, words, feelings that you may pick up. Is there anything you'd like to share, Tiger?
Yeah, well, I mean, what came to me, or what what thoughts started coming when I heard those words was to move forward, to excel, to move forward for me. I really need to start with what is the core, what is basic, what is elemental.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like that slow is smooth and smooth is fast, that thing there. And so the other side of that coin is also being aware that what is core and basic is almost always spiritual. The other side of that word, elemental, right? And so what I got stimulated when you said that was uh, I have that excel in my life. I can excel, but I need to do it from some place. I need to make sure that I'm building from something. And that is that simplicity of who I am, the basics of things, not forgetting the basics of things, not getting so far out on these ideas that I don't forget about my basic routines of life, taking care of myself, being of service, this kind of thing. So that's what stood out to me.
Yeah, when I'm in the pictures that I was seeing, my first gift is a gift of vision. So I think in pictures, and that's how my guidance give me information is it's interesting because I hadn't really tied this together, but lately in another business opportunity, I've been refining how I've been going about that. And I've been pivoting more from the spiritual, and that it's how I want to feel as I move through things. I learn what I'm doing, and the products that I'm working with and the services I'm providing. There's that intellectual part of it, but it's more the experience I want to have as I work with the intellectual, say, policies and procedures. And I was kind of reflecting upon how I didn't even have to be aware of it to know I was working with it. But now that I'm aware of Excel and Elemental, it gives me kind of a new impetus or more energy to really follow through with that and really wrap that up. And for example, one of the ways that I'm doing that is like just being aware of thoughts where I'm feeling a little complacent or, maybe a little lazy. Why am I not just moving towards that new customer or client? Why am I holding back? Just noticing the thoughts that I had. And instead of going, I don't know about this, so I'm a little reticent to talk about it. It's like, wait a minute. Why don't I just go find out about it? And again, kind of excel. So in a nutshell, this has given me kind of a new feeling for following through with that. And that's what I put together there.
Nice.
I feel more, and so as a result, folks, looks like I feel more secure with the direction that I've already started to become aware of. I'm getting more reassurance from my guidance. That's where I need to go, and they can help me in that area. So
being present.
And that's being fully involved. You're talking about right. Involved. And, in our society, there's a point in probably everybody's life, when you're a little kid, you're like full on involved and you're just having a blast. And it's always so fun to watch them and how they just, no, I want to do it. And they do it and they do it well. Holy smokes, who knew this 4-year-old could do that well? And then there's about 12 or 13, they start hanging back and, watching things. It's too cool to be involved, so those concepts move in. And anyway, the solution is to be in your feelings, that childlike part. So that was a bit of a meditation. Now we'll do the discovery portion where we've got some reading material. And I had opened, here's another one of our booklets. We have a 3-book starter pack that you can purchase online. There's a discount code in the show notes, but I'll go ahead and read this because I was guided to. So the value of life lies not in the length of the days, but in the use we make of them. Montaigne. I don't know how to pronounce that. What are you doing today? Do you know what you want to accomplish, or are you just passing through? Are you walking down the road or are you going somewhere? All of this makes a difference in how you feel towards yourself. As a soul, you came to planet Earth to accomplish your life purpose. If you are not happy with what you are doing, it could be it is not what you have chosen to do. It could be you are making your work more important than you. As you respect yourself, you respect your time. This means you have an idea how you want to spend or invest your time. If you invest your time, you are getting something back in return. If you are spending it, you may be just getting rid of it. Killing time is not having direction and not caring that you don't. Do you want to have a read of the last paragraph? Usually we do that way. I have everybody have a little read the last paragraph.
As a soul, you have eternity to work out the areas within yourself in which you need greater understanding. By investing your time to find out who you are, where you came from, and where you're going, you create an environment of security for yourself. Then, regardless of what you do, you have a better understanding of the value of time. The only time you have is your own. How you use it is up to you.
All right, so take a moment, take a deep breath. Again, just tune into that positive part of yourself, your higher self. And here's the first question. What stood out to you? Was there any particular line or phrase or sentence that stood out to you? Or feeling? Would you like to start, Tiger?
Sure. So the part that stood out to me was basically, am I just walking down the road, or do I have a purpose to where I'm walking, and how that affects my beingness. That part in the beginning is really what stood out, and it kind of set the tone for everything. So to me, that's the part that stood out, and it's a reminder of that when I'm in my niche, or I'm doing what I need to do, what I came to do. Sometimes what I'm thinking about, what I want, and actually what I truly need and want are two different things. So I need to be more respectful for when I'm feeling fulfilled in something, and start to point my nose in that. Because as long as I'm willing to be of service, then I'll always have what I need. And I can always be abundant and grow. But if I'm encountering too much troubles, I may not be in my niche. So that's just kind of dialing the knobs a little bit left and right, up or down, in or out, just to where I can find where I can do the best I came to do.
Yeah, and for me, what struck me was how that's probably the feeling that I would describe. What stood out to me is that, am I just biding my time, or am I really, growing? And the funny thing about having more purpose to my involvement and what I'm sharing about is actually that feels better. That's more fulfilling. I feel like I'm, rising to another level, and how it's easy as an older person to sort of say, well, I'm just killing time. I'm just doing this thing, killing time. And so if I'm not aware of the spiritual side of whatever I'm doing, because, I'm involved in a business opportunity because I need to earn my daily bread, and, those are good intellectual reasons, and I need, that's all fine. But the spiritual side, it's all about how I move through it for me. And so there, folks, is you're going to see that Tiger has a different take on the same thing that's more specific to what he's becoming more aware of and what he's learning and growing with. And I'm going to have my take on it. There are things that he said that struck me that I went, oh, yeah, that's another way of looking at what I'm sharing, and vice versa. So now we give you a chance in the comments to just put down anything you'd like as to what struck you, if it's a key word, key phrase, and if that had any insight that you got. If you didn't, that's okay too. But we look forward to hearing from you on that. The next step is typically in our format is you'll offer a technique. So the purpose of these is to balance the conscious thinking with the unconscious feeling, or to give us an experience of, say, more that mystical nature, the ESP part or the spiritual healing. And then kind of through spiritual healing, what I find, what it means to me is it reinforces that growth or that insight that I've got that helps me stay more true to that new course of being.
Right.
What's funny about all that is the more I do that, I'll probably be more successful in the physical as well, or in the material as well. So,
yeah, I mean,
do you have a technique in mind?
Well, we could do the very one of the first techniques that we go over.
Okay.
Is feeling energy or feeling your aura.
Okay.
And it's a simple, straightforward one, but it ends up being the basis for so much other stuff. So we'll go through it real quick here. Some of you may have experienced this or seen this before. But in short, what you're going to do is you're going to bring your hands together as if, and rub them together as if your hands were cold. So, and put a little energy into it. Just imagine you're cold. Just rub them together. All right. And then what you do is you're going to bring your hands apart just a little bit, and you're going to just move them back and forth, close together, and then apart. Bring it close together and apart. Don't let them touch. Right? And just bring your full focus to your hands and between your hands, and just relax. And just start experiencing. Don't think about it. Just what are you experiencing? Let your shoulders relax. Don't try. Maybe you'll start feeling a little warmth from your hands. Some people feel like a pull or a push. Sometimes I've heard people say it's like a balloon in between your hands, or magnetism. So whatever you're feeling, that's you. That's your energy. That's the real you. Right? That's the life force energy that you really are. It's what's running your physical body. And you can do this anytime you want to get yourself centered and grounded, and brings you back here. How would you experience?
I always feel like it's like I'm pulling taffy or something in there, and then when I go to close it, it's like a ball of energy that's kind of resisting a magnetism that resists. And I relate to using it as a technique to get me back. Sometimes I've been in, say, a business meeting, and I'm feeling a little anxious, or I'm picking up on some anxious energy around me. And I'll literally just kind of lift my hands and go like that, and it reminds me I'm a soul. I'm just a soul here, learning and growing. That's the big picture. And it helps me tune back into that inner calmness, which helps me be of even greater service to the situation and allow my guidance to give me insight into, a positive outlook towards what I'm going through and solutions.
Yeah, and for me, it's a little similar. I'm kind of a grounded guy, even though I work with all these things. So it's a great starter, because I just actually just start just to physically feel my hands. Like I can feel the warmth between them, right? Mm-hmm. That's what gets me started. I've had other people like Tom, they're very alert and sensitive stuff that just feel stuff right away. I typically have to build myself into that. And so to me, the most powerful thing it does, as far as the involvement and how to make it practical, is this simple technique brings me to the here and now. similar to your story about being in the meeting and like, okay, I don't need to be anxious about this. It's like, I can't be in anxiety or depression or worry and guilt if I'm doing this technique. If I'm fully involved here, I can't be in two places at once. I need to be right here. And that recenters myself. It gets me back into the place I need to be. And then from that place, I can move forward.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And then we have the next section, and we're kind of going through a consolidated, version of all this. We have a lot of techniques to help you relax or to cleanse your aura. But the next section is the outflow technique. And sometimes when we're remote from each other, we can do an environmental cleansing.
Sure.
Is a good outflow. So it's like, now I've been working on myself and now I want to move back into the bigger picture.
Right.
So if you will, if you're happy to do it, I'll just lead everybody through an environmental cleansing.
Sure.
And if you're driving, pull over. Don't do this while driving. If you're at home and you're you're sitting in a chair, relaxed, just place your feet flat on the floor. And just take a couple deep breaths and let that positive stillness wash over you. If you know how to use the spiritual cleansing technique that we teach you, where you shake your hands and use your aura, again, there's a video we have on that that'll be attached at the end screen. Go ahead and practice that technique. But just take a few deep breaths, maybe in 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4, and breathe in and out as you do that. And do that about 3 or 4 times. Now just imagine a loving feeling in the center of your being as positive white light. And close your eyes and just imagine that white light that bubble of energy is expanding throughout your environment, through yourself, your environment. Take it further throughout the room and the house that you're in or the place that you're in. And just see that love and light expand throughout your neighborhood. Imagine it expanding throughout your town with that feeling of pure love and respect. See that expand throughout your state, your province, further throughout your country, and around the world. And see it covered in a positive white light, just feeling free with inner respect for yourself and all the souls that are on the planet. You can think of it as cleansing your involvement in planet Earth. And just release that love and light out to the universe and come back to yourself. Be aware of what you experienced. And just open your eyes and share what you experience, or cleanse if you know how to do that.
Was just really aware of a few thoughts that I started thinking about, and then I had to bring myself back to what we were doing. So that was something to be aware of for myself. But then as I just stayed real loyal to, okay, how did I feel when I was rubbing my hands together? And let's take that out further. And then let's take that out further, just following your direction. Okay, I'm going to keep taking that same feeling further and further and further out. So that was what I was focused on. And then just being aware that I do everything for myself and to be of service to people.
Yeah, the thoughts that came to me were, it felt good. I mean, I felt a calmness and a quietness, you might say. It feels quieter out there, and yet it's the same as it was. Um, one of the thoughts that I had was that, I'm not really doing this to influence anybody else's experience. I'm just doing this to cleanse my involvement with people in the bigger picture. And then that way they can be free to be who they are, and I can be free to who I am. And that's was just the insight that I got. All right, folks. Well, that's the format that we typically work with. Thank you for tuning in to Enthusiastically Spiritual. And this is a nice long episode to give you a taste of what we've got to offer. Again, look at the links in the show notes to get you started. Is there any parting words you have for us, Tiger, today's episode?
Just that, I just kind of, we went through a lot of process there, but the real key is just making sure whatever you do and whatever you pull together for yourself, how can you make it practical? How can you bring it into your daily life? Imbuing what you do and the people you're talking to, just bring that in. So it becomes more of a way of life rather than a way of worship. And that's how change is effected in my own life and with other people. That's how I can be of service, is just making sure I'm with myself and I'm not reacting to things. I'm actually being responsive rather than reactive. And just being aware that I need to be involved in order to get out of life what I've come to do.
Thank you for letting us share. Please like, subscribe, etc., and share these videos with other folks. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments, and please head over to the links and get yourself started. There seemed to be one other thing I wanted to share, is that, we're all just practicing.
Mm-hmm.
So, try it again. Try it sometimes when you're still, and realize that there's a method to getting back to who you really are. And remember, life's too short to not be enthusiastic about your unique journey.
To keep the enthusiasm going, please like, subscribe, or comment below. We would love to hear from you.